Okay, let's move on. When you repeatedly imagined eating the lemon, touching your ear, and then changing your thoughts well away from the lemon very quickly, you were learning how to install a lemon state of mind as a conditioned response. A state of mind like that is in fact an emotion, and emotions arrive and fade off in a very predictable pattern that looks like this. You can see that an emotion quickly builds to a kind of crescendo or peak, but then following the peak, it falls off very rapidly. It's important to realize that the best time to do the touch, to install a conditioned response or to install an emotion that we can use, is around about here. So not at the peak, but coming up to the peak. The reason for that is that if you say install your touch or install the emotion right here at the peak, what you're installing is the falling away of the emotion. So if we want to get the strongest effect, we'll actually do our touch as we're coming into the emotion right here. So to use this technique properly, we need two different things that we can install. Firstly, we need a very specific food addiction. So it's not just chocolate, but it's a Cadbury dairy milk, or it's dark chocolate and almond, or it's a Milky Bar, for example. We have to be really specific. Now, don't worry that this isn't broad enough for you. You might have addictions to all kinds of chocolates. What you'll find is that by the time you've treated somewhere between 3 and 5 specific chocolates, each one taking maybe 5 minutes, that will generalize across all chocolate. So by being specific, we have a very general effect. So the first emotion is that very specific problem food. The second emotion that we need to have so that we can use it too is the thought of something that's so revolting to you that you would just about throw up if you vividly imagined munching on it, like blended snails or sputum or vomit or snot or dog glue, etc., etc. You get the idea? And if your tummy is already starting to recoil at that, you're onto it, you've got it. This is going to be a very, very powerful technique, and you might guess it's kind of an aversion technique, but you don't have to worry about being turned off food for life, and I'll explain that in a moment. In each case, we're going to vividly imagine first the food and then the revolting thing 3 times each. And we're going to install each thing on a kneecap. The food emotion will be installed on the left kneecap, and the yuck emotion will be installed on the right kneecap. Now, don't worry, I'm actually going to show you in the next video exactly how to do that. I'm going to first demonstrate how it's done, and then I'm going to talk you through doing it yourself. Now, why don't you need to worry about turning off your favourite foods for life? Because, I mean, that would be awful, wouldn't it? Who would ever want to stop eating chocolate forever, for example? So what you'll find is that, when we're using overkill here, what you'll find is that maybe for the first day or 3 days, you may be a little bit revolted by thoughts of your favourite food. It fades off very, very quickly though. And shortly after that, you'll find that you can eat your favourite food, your problem food that you're addicted to or have been addicted to, and you know what? You'll enjoy it just as much as you always did. So that's a great thing. But that food will no longer control you, so that you can decide to eat it or decide not to eat it, and you'll no longer be emotionally torn by that food, and you'll no longer feel guilty about eating it either. You'll truly be free to enjoy that food appropriately at a time of your choice. That's a good thing. So let's get on to the next video and I'll demonstrate exactly how this simple and very fast technique is done.